On a fresh, dewy morning in the heart of the countryside, Peppa Pig, a cheerful, spirited adult with a penchant for pink dresses and unexpected shenanigans, stepped outside to greet the weekend. The air was filled with birdsong, and Peppa had come prepared, sunglasses perched high, cup of tea in hoof, and a singular mission in mind. Today was not just any day. For weeks, Peppa had been looking forward to tidying up her car collection. Yes, even after entering adulthood, Peppa cherished her collection of small vintage toy cars, each one backed by a story of days gone by. Among them, her most prized possession, the tiny, cherry-red convertible she'd received as a gift from her best friend, Susie Sheep, years ago. As she opened the garden shed, Peppa felt a surge of anticipation. She set out her array of vehicles, racing stripes, chunky wheels, a double-decker bus, and even a retro police car. But something was off. She counted again, double-checked the shelves, and then peered into every drawer. The cherry-red convertible was nowhere to be found. Peppa's brow furrowed. She retraced her steps. Hadn't she last used it during last Sunday's garden tea party? Or was it at Grandpa Pig's house, where she'd visited to show off her prized model? Or, dare she remember, did she lend it to George, her younger brother, who sometimes confused display toys with launch across the kitchen toys? She was determined to find out. First, Peppa called George, who these days lived just down the road. "George, have you seen my cherry-red car?" she asked, hoping for good news. There was a brief pause on the line, interrupted by the muffled sound of George's new pet turtle making a racket in the background. "Sorry, Peppa," George replied. "I only borrowed your police car last week. I gave it back, honest." Peppa thanked him and hung up, but suspicions lingered. She set out on a walk, replaying the previous week. Her first stop, Susie Sheep's house. Susie, longtime confidant and fellow collector, greeted her warmly. "Come for tea, Peppa?" "I would, Susie, but I'm on a mission. Have you seen my cherry-red toy car? The convertible?" Susie's eyes widened. "The one with the little white racing stripes? No, I haven't. But I did see you showing it off to Pedro Pony at yesterday's market." A clue. Peppa and Susie, sensing the thrill of a mystery, hustled to the market, where vendors bustled about. Pedro Pony, a gentle, absent-minded fellow who ran the second-hand music stall, was organizing old vinyls. "Oh, the red convertible?" Pedro squinted, as if willing a memory to surface. "You did show it to me. You left it on my table while you looked through records, and then I packed up early for the rain. Could it have ended up in my box of unsold items?" He led Peppa to the back of his van, rummaging through a stack of crates. "No luck here," Pedro said, scratching his head. "But I do remember Madame Gazelle stopping by after you left. She asked what all the little cars were for. Maybe she picked it up by mistake." Peppa's mission was now international, or at least it felt that way. She and Susie headed to Madame Gazelle's cozy cottage on the edge of the woods. Madame Gazelle, their one-time teacher, now ran an antiques business and was known for picking up trinkets wherever she could. "Ah, the cherry-red car," Madame Gazelle exclaimed. "I did find it in Pedro's box. I thought it belonged to him and placed it in my antique store, right next to a set of porcelain frogs. But—" Madame Gazelle paused, suddenly uncertain. "Yesterday, Miss Rabbit came in and admired it. She said her niece collected red cars and asked if she could borrow it to show her. I hope that's all right." Peppa blinked. She'd started the day organizing toys, and now her precious car was on loan, traveling the countryside like a wayward celebrity. Susie grinned. "This is getting good. Shall we visit Miss Rabbit?" They arrived at the hilltop shop where Miss Rabbit ran nearly every enterprise in town. Hardware, florist, haberdasher, you name it, she probably managed it at least part-time. "Miss Rabbit," Peppa called, I'm retracing my toy car.
Heard you might have it.
Miss Rabbit clapped her paws together. Oh, Peppa, you'll never guess. I did borrow your tiny car just for a little display at the community center. It was such a hit. Everyone loved it. But then, during cleanup, Grampy Rabbit offered to give it a safety polish, said it deserved a touch-up before being returned. Peppa shook her head in half amusement, half exasperation. She'd never known a toy car quite so busy. It was off to Grampy Rabbit's boathouse, perched just at the edge of the reservoir. The scent of engine grease and sea air filled the air as the two friends entered, calling for Grampy.